Glaive is right now one of the most powerful weapons in the game. It has one of the fastest clear times with some speed runs, and it's also one of the weapons that you can deal up to 3k damage in just one single attack, one single combo, provided that you are fighting something that is big enough to take advantage of that one attack. We're going to talk about that a little later on, but this build is going to be a elemental build. And it's just your regular, all-times favorite elemental armor set that we have right here. That's what we're going to be talking about first. We have the Arc Vulcan Mail beta, the G Arc Veil Van Braces beta, the Arc Vulcan Coil beta. I've seen a lot of people running the Du Udna pieces because they give 3 levels of coalescence instead of 2. But that takes away the extra 5 levels of points of weakness exploits that I have right in there. I like to use my weakness exploit. I like to have my weakness exploit, especially with this weapon that is always going to be focusing quite a lot on weak points as well, and bursting wounds. As a matter of fact, the playstyle that we adopt with this weapon is bursting as many wounds as possible. So yeah, that takes advantage of that. It's a matter of personal preference. And then just your general 2 pieces of Gore Megala beta, both on the head and on the greaves, because they are going to give you coalescence, antivirus, and also the Black Eclipse. Monster weapons that are good to use and that you can use before you can actually start farming your Artian weapons. Now, when it comes to the insect glaives, there's many good choices for different weapons, at least for my playstyle. I'm a little bit biased on my playstyle. I do like to abuse that charge attack that everyone is doing to deal massive amounts of damage. That means that right out of the bat, because of that single purpose, there's a whole bunch of weapons that are not going to be good for you right in here. Like, for example, this is a very good one, as a matter of fact, because it already has Master's Touch. This is one of the good ones that I do advise for you to use, but it's a fire elemental one, and the only other one that we're going to be using is also going to be fire elemental, so this is a very good choice to use the Guardian Rathalos. Now, we have critical draw in here. That's useless. We don't want to be using draw attacks with our weapon right here. We also have power prolonger weapons. The ones that have power prolonger, we want to be avoiding these guys like the plague, because the playstyle that this weapon is that we want to be abusing. We do not want to sustain the Kinsects in our weapon. As a matter of fact, we won't be spamming and spamming and spamming the charge B attack for tremendous amounts of damage, and then charging it back, because it's very easy to charge it with wounds. And if you don't have wounds, then you can just do your regular combos to attack. But as soon as you get your powders inside of your insect glaive, you should be striving to spam the most damaging combo, provided that you have a window of opportunity, but you should be fishing for those. So when it comes to focus and power prolonger, those are going to be wasted skills that you're not going to be using. Therefore, the only good reason why you should be using like the weapons is because of the element that they have, and more often than not, the element that they are going to have is going to be crappy. More often than not, Artian weapons are going to be better. That being said, yes, the Guardian Rathalos tree, it's a very, very good weapon to use. Also, the Rathian, like always, the Rathian weapons are very, very powerful because they have critical status. Critical status is not bugged. Critical status is working properly. And this is a general weapon that you can be using before you actually start crafting an Artian weapon, because poison is going to be effective against every single thing. We have so much affinity. We have nearly 100% of affinity with this build. We have this critical status, which is going to be affected by coalescence. The critical status, and because of our critical hits in here and the poison duration up, I cannot stress enough how powerful this weapon is, and it really looks amazing. So if you want to be using something general for this elemental build before you actually get a good Artian weapon or your good Artian weapons, I'd say that the Queen Regalia in here, it's a good choice for every single monster that you're going to fight in here. Even the Rompopoulos or anything that has resistance to poisons, quote-unquote resistant to poison, you're still going to be poisoning because of the critical status, because of the coalescence, because of your critical hits. This is generally going to be good. And then we have the Rathalos tree that I told you that it's very good also because it already has a critical boost. So you can just very well slot a razor sharp in here to 3 levels of razor sharp and 3 levels of fire damage, and that is just going to be more than enough for this to be a very, very good fire weapon, which in my personal opinion is going to be far superior to the previous one that we talked about. Now, once you're building your Artian weapon, what is it that you want to be striving for? Like always, my advice, my recommendation is this is not a very good one. Ideally, you would want to have 4 elements in your Artian weapon with 1 sharpness boost. A almost perfect option would be if you have 3 elements in either attack or affinity boost. In here I have a meh, like it suffices, it's sufficient enough. It has 2 elements. If I had gotten 1 more element in here instead of one of those attack boost or affinity boost, that would have been amazing. But what you want to be striving for, and that's going to be pretty much your end game, because just I have burned like 20 Artian weapons trying to get this one. This is the most decent one that I managed to come up with. You want to have 4 elements and 1 sharpness, and a almost perfect one would be 3 elements, 1 sharpness, and either attack or affinity boost. It's not going to be it's not going to matter, but this is also fine. Like, this is sufficient enough. This is still going to be far better, far superior than any of the monster weapons, but you want to have something much stronger than this. Ultimately, this is the skills that you're going to have: a level 3 critical boost, a level 3 fire attack, a level 3 razor sharp. This could be interchanged by Master's Touch. I don't have a Master's Touch. Either of these guys right here are going to be amazing. You will notice that I have Slugger in here. I am using a Blunt Kinsect because of that matter, but that's only because my gems are brilliant. This is not a requirement. This is not something that you need to have. It's just that my weapons, my Blaze Jewel for fire attack and the Razor Sharp Jewel for the Razor Sharp, they also come with Slugger-ish, each of them. That's why I have this in here. It is not a mandatory thing. And then we're going to be using 3 chain jewels for the burst level 3. The amulet that we're using is the burst amulet, of course. And then we're going to be needing 1 phoenix jewel to get that extra coalescence in here. Also have in mind that if you want to, you can be changing, like for example, if you want to actually have the 3rd point to coalescence in here, you can interchange one of the chain jewels that are just going to give you 4 levels into boost, into burst, and then 3 levels into coalescence. It's a mix and match situation in here. You are still, however, going to need a Phoenix Jewel and a Sane Jewel to get the antivirus, and 2 Sane Jewels to get the antivirus to level 3, so that you can be healing from the frenzy, entering into the coalescence, and so on and so forth. Now in here, the final level 1 jewels that you can have in here are up to your personal preference, and these are your utility jewels to some extent. I sometimes like to run with the Divine Blessing and the Recovery Up, because my cat should be sufficient enough for it to be healing during my hunts, so that's something to have in mind. But I do want to have that extra survivability. If you're very good, if you don't need that much survivability, then a very good option in here if you want to stay airborne as well, which why would you? But anyways, Constitution jewels are always very, very useful. But yeah, this is also your utility jewels, and they are up to your personal preference to some extent. And yes, like I mentioned, I am going to leave you with a little bit of a hunt for you right in here. But yes, like I mentioned, the overall playstyle that I like to adopt with the weapon, since you have so much burst, have in mind that also if we are spamming our B combo attack, the finisher is always going to be benefiting from the burst extra attack damage accumulation. And that is because we have several inputs for attacks and damage attacks before it actually triggers the final animation. However, I do advise for you to use the Y combo first, so that you can secure that burst, and then once you have secured that burst damage, then you can release the B charge combo to deal that much more damage. But ideally, that's what you want to be spamming with this weapon. I'm just going to leave you in here with the hunt so that you can see how powerful this is. If you like the content, so like and never super appreciate it. Know still that you're a gorgeous and beautiful person. You are indeed a gorgeous and beautiful person. Subscribe to the channel, join the Discord. Have a beautiful day and goodbye.